Welcome back to Perks Recap Podcast, the Yankees edition, going over the Yankees in Toronto series. You go to the World Series last year, right? Defense has been a problem all year, and it comes to a head in Game 5 where you look like a Little League team and you get embarrassed, committing all these throwing errors and can't catch the ball and all kinds of problems. And they had said that they addressed that this year. And to some degree, they did in the outfield in terms of Goldschmidt's a very good first baseman in the field. Max Fried is a Gold Glove uh, pitcher. Bellinger is very good in the all three outfield positions. Grisham, of course, is very good, but Dominguez is still a liability. Volpe's defense is nowhere near what it was in his first year, and even then, he didn't deserve that Gold Glove. And third base is an Alcatraz all to itself, hitting and defensively. Um, yeah, and it comes back to bite him again. I have to start keeping track of errors, I think, because this entire series, the Yankees embarrassed themselves again. The first game, Volpe and Peraza both throwing errors. Rodon gives up 4 runs, but only 2 of them are earned in 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 Ks, ERA at 3.10. Efros and Brubaker come on. Efros for 1 inning, Brubaker for 2. Didn't give up any runs for either one of them. Brubaker's ERA is down at 3.75. Efros at 4.15. Rodon takes the loss at 10-7. But the Yankees only get together 5 hits, 1 run, and that's on a Stanton home run, his fifth. 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position, 7 left on base. And 5 hits, 1 run, and 2 errors is not going to get the job done. Not against the first place team. Not against a surging Blue Jays team. Yankees bounce back in Game 2 on the 22nd. And win 5-4. But even in that game, they had to hold on. The game was tied 4-4 in the 8th or ninth, and they needed a Ben Rice home run for that 5th run to give them the win. I think he hit that in the top of the 9th inning. So dramatic home run for Ben Rice, very good. That's awesome. But again, only 6 hits, 5 runs on 6 hits. Jazz hit a home run, Bellinger hit a home run, and then of course Rice hit the home run. Those are 18th for Jazz and Bellinger, and the 15th for Rice. Bellinger was 3 for 4. He was the hitting star. No one else got more than 2 hits. And in the first game, nobody got more than nobody got 2 hits. Everybody got no more than 1 hit except for Bellinger. And in the first game, nobody got more than 1 hit at all. Schlittler came on. He was the starter. So far, so good with this kid. I like what I'm seeing from him. I mean, he goes into Toronto. The fans are really cranking up for this team. They're showing up for this team. So a loud environment on the road. Goes 5 innings, 2 runs. I'll take that. I will take that every time. No problem. Um, he walked 3, but he struck out 3. He had 7 hits again. So he had some traffic on the bases, gave up a couple runs. But I tell you what, 5 innings, 2 runs, I'll take every time. This is not on Schlittler at all. Tim Hill came in for 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 runs, but none of them are earned. His ERA is at 2.54. Loizaga comes on, gives up 2 hits. Weaver comes on for an inning in 2/3, 1 walk. His ERA is at 2.65. That was it from Weaver. Good to see. Hamilton records 1 out and gets the win. ERA at 3.96, and Devin Williams got the save. He did give up a hit, but no runs, 2 Ks, 4.70 ERA. It was his 15th save. But back to the errors. Volpe again, second straight day throwing error again. results in 2 unearned runs for Tim Hill. And then Toronto wins the third game, wins the series 8-4. The Yankees drop a game back in the season standings for this series coming in. They had a chance to tie it if they swept them, or at least gain a game if they won 2 out of 3, but instead they lose a game. Max Fried, again, did not have it. This is a few times in a row where Max Fried is not looking quite like himself. He is not nearly as dominant as he was early in the year, and it's been pretty consistent now for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 starts, I would say. Coming off the blister, so that was good to see. At least he got over that, it seems. He took the loss. He's 11-4. His ERA still only at 2.62. 5.1 innings, 5 and a third, 6 hits, 6 runs, but again, only 4 of those runs are earned. 3 walks, 3 Ks. Loi's good, 2/3 of an inning, nothing. Nothing across, 4.91 ERA. Efros, an inning, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. So he got banged around a little bit. His ERA is up to 5.5 now. And Brubaker, for the second straight game, after going 2 innings and giving up nothing, he goes 1 inning, gives up a hit and a walk, but he got through it. ERA at 3.46. They had 4, count them, 4 errors in this game. Fried and Jazz on throwing errors. Now, you're not going to replace Jazz at second. He's pretty steady over there, but errors happen to everybody, and he had one. Fried, like I said, is a Gold Glove fielding pitcher. Happens. He had one. It just so happened to really compound everything that's going on with this team in terms of their fielding. And then Rice and Dominguez, both on, not on throws, on just their fielding. Dominguez, at the times, he looks okay out there overall, but sometimes he still is like a butcher out there, and you really start to think, what if this comes up in the playoffs in a big spot where he plays a bad, a ball bad, or can't catch the ball, plays it wrong, he makes all kinds of mistakes. Rice fielding, again, he doesn't really have a position. Came up as a catcher. We talked about Rice playing catcher and first base. He's not particularly good at either, but you want his bat in the lineup, especially after the day before when he hit the game-winning home run. You want to put him back in there, but 4 errors. That's the story of the game. 4 errors. They lost 8-4. Dominguez did hit a home run, his 9th. Volpe did hit a home run. Looks like his 13th. And Judge hit his 37th home run. But all of them had 1 hit. Nobody, again, had more than 1 hit. 5 hits. So that means they had a total of 16 hits in 3 games. That's really not a lot. Not a lot at all. I'm going to go over real quick the batting averages, because I haven't done that in a while. Grisham's at 255. Bellinger is at 285. He's surging. Judge is down to 345. He's getting like a 1 hit. He's going a lot of 1-for-4s or 1-for-3 and a walk. A lot of that. Rice is at 232. Jazz at 247. Dominguez at 253. I mean, those are all fine. 250 range, except for Rice at 230. But Volpe's at 214, Esquera at 205, Peraza 147, Vivas 164, Austin Wells 216, Stanton's at 271, and Goldschmidt's at 288. It's the same thing though; they're not hitting. I think they're waiting. They're depending on Judge to carry them, and Judge was hot obviously early in the year, smoking hot, and now. He's not in a slump. He's not carrying the team, that's for sure. And I guess you gotta kind of expect another hot streak from him. He's usually good for two a season. I mean, but one of these seasons he's not. He's gonna have 1 hot streak and not have another one. And then, as he continues to get older, and the hot streak won't be quite as dominant, it won't be quite as good or as long, and you can't keep depending on him to carry the entire team. If he does get hot again, sure, they'll probably look good. They'll probably win some games. And and I'm talking hot like 10, 12 home runs in like a 24 game span, something like that. And batting 350 to 400 that entire time for 20, 24 games. Um, Something like that, which last year he did. He's done it every year where he gets hot twice, two distinct hot streaks that really bowls his entire season. In the meantime, he's just kind of steady Eddie here and there. Like he went 1 for 4, but he did a home run. He's up to 37 homers. Um, so we'll have to see where it goes. But their fielding is such a problem. They need a third baseman who can field at the trade deadline. We are getting close to the trade deadline, and they need somebody to be able to pick it at third, improve the defense a little bit. I know it's just one position, but it still would help. So that's why I kind of don't want Eugenio Suarez. He's an okay third baseman, nothing special at all, and he strikes out a ton and he hits a ton of home runs. We have those guys on the team already. We don't need more. We don't really need more power. I know there's a thought process of just bludgeoning people, but you're not going to bludgeon people in the playoffs. It's not going to play. It doesn't play well in the playoffs. We've seen it time and time again. You get a ton of guys who hit a ton of home runs and strike out a ton. In the playoffs, they don't hit quite as many home runs, and they still strike out a ton, if not more. 0 for 5 and 5 Ks or 4 Ks on a ground out, something like that. So you can't. I'd much rather would get somebody. I'm not even sure who, but somebody who can play really good defense at third, and just not be an abomination in the field. Not even not an abomination. Not just be a good third baseman, be a really good, be a Gold Glove caliber third baseman, and just not be terrible at the plate. Be okay at the plate. Be a 260 hitter. Give me 260, a little bit of pop, and good fielding at third, and I'll be a happy guy. I'm not expecting. I'm not. I don't want 320 and 40 home runs and a Gold Glove. No, just give me some good solid fielding. Don't make too many errors. Hit 260 and a little bit of pop. That's all I'm asking for. That should be reasonable enough to be able to get at the trade deadline somewhere along the way here. On to a couple other things. I'm still trying to get out the top 10 guitarists of all time podcast that me and Al did. Major technical problems are going on with that. I'm still in the process of trying to figure that out. It will come out eventually. Even if we have to redo it, it will come out eventually. Also, Ozzy Osborne passed away. And you guys know I do my music reactions. And of course, Ozzy Osbourne's a name that everybody knows. And that's an impactful passing. And it's just strange how he just had his last show, his farewell show. Uh, when he was saying, "Mama, I'm coming home," I said it at the time that it was like he was saying goodbye. And I guess it was. He was saying goodbye because within, 2 weeks, he's gone. And yeah, leaves a mark, but leaves us some great, great music. And I'm going to definitely react to some Ozzy coming up here on the channel in the next few days. I just think it's only fair, it's only right to do that. And it actually happened while me and Al were recording the podcast. We were in the middle of recording the podcast and Ozzy passed away. So when that podcast is released, you'll hear our genuine reaction as it happened. And lastly, I'm a pro wrestling fan. I've been a pro wrestling fan my entire life. Everybody says I watched pro wrestling when I was a kid, but then I fell off of it. Or I watched pro wrestling when I was a kid. I came back here and there, but overall, I haven't really watched much lately. And when I say lately, I mean the last 30, 40 years. Hulk Hogan has turned out to not be a very good human being. He said some racist remarks. He's apologized, but who knows? Um, he's a two-time Hall of Famer. They erased him for a little while during the scandal and the racist remarks. But they brought him back. He's back in the Hall of Fame. They brought him back a couple times since then. Um, his last appearance, he got booed. Now, whether it was Trump, his supporting of Trump, and he was in California where Trump is not a very popular figure at all. That could have played into it a little bit, but also the fact that it just turns out that behind the scenes too, he's not a very good human as well in terms of the business, not wanting to help people out, not wanting to lose matches, and the famous "that doesn't work for me, brother" line, all that stuff. You can say all that stuff about Hulk Hogan, and that's fair. I think that's fair. And if because of that you can't get back to where you were with him, and you are not at all in any kind of I don't want to say grieving or mourning or anything, that's a little bit too severe for a celebrity, but you don't have any feelings at all towards him passing away. I am not that. I am not there with that. I acknowledge how abhorrent his words were and the things he's done. But I cannot sit here and say that when I was growing up, this will date me, he was the biggest star in my world and the biggest star wrestling ever created. The boom in the 80s was because of Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania. That's all there is to it. The Hulkster was everywhere, talk shows, all that stuff. Nobody was on talk shows before that. Occasionally, every once in a while, and it would be somebody like Andre the Giant. But like for the most part, not to the degree that Hogan was. Then he goes in the movies, makes a bunch of bad B movies, makes a bad TV shows, a bad TV show, Thunder in Paradise, all that stuff. But he steals the show in Rocky 3, Thunder Lips, and just became this larger than life figure. Um, admitted later that he did steroids at certain points, like he says two times in his career. Not like two times ever, time periods in his career, probably a few years at a time. Um, but he admitted that. I don't fault a lot of guys for that um, in that business because at that time Vince McMahon was running the show, and he went on physiques and size. And if you did not have the right physique or size, you were not going to get to the main event. You were not going to get pushed, as they say. Um, and Hulk Hogan was my everything. Hulk Hogan was my everything. When back in the day, when heel turns needed to happen, they turned on Hogan. That's how they got a name for themselves. Or they attacked Hogan. And when I was little and watching that, I would get genuinely upset, like hurt in my stomach, that Hulk Hogan took that beating. When King Kong Bundy attacked him, when Mr. Wonderful Orndorff attacked him, it hurt. Um, so yeah, Hulk Hogan was my everything. He's the reason why, unlike other people who they fall out of wrestling and go in and out, I never fell out. I liked it as a kid, and I've watched it all the way through. I'm 50 years old almost, and I've watched it all the way through the entire time. Um, and the reason that's the what started all that was Hulk Hogan, and even when he turned heel in the NWO, I guess I would have been in my 20s, early 20s, something like that. Early 20s, I'll say. Um, I loved it. I still loved him. I still liked the fact that he did this, and I was on board. I was an NWO guy. I had a T-shirt and everything. So yeah, Hulk Hogan is the reason I like wrestling to this day. He started it all. I'm very disappointed in him outside of the ring, but you cannot deny his impact on the wrestling business. He's got to be on a Mount Rushmore. His impact is undeniable. In the 70s, they were going fine. Bruno Sammartino was selling out Madison Square Garden, but then the boom happens, and Hulk Hogan was part of that boom. And then the second boom happens, and it's when WWE and WCW were going at it in the Monday Night Wars, and Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock became stars, and Triple H and all that. And on the other side in WCW was Hulk Hogan in the NWO. He's part of both, uh, two of the biggest booms in the history of wrestling when they really, really were making the most amount of money. In the 80s, he was huge, brought national media attention to it. And the 90s was the most lucrative time in the business, money wise, popularity wise, and he was part of that as well. Cannot deny it, not one bit. So, regardless of his political views, regardless of what he said, and again, I acknowledge and I do not in any way, shape, or form support any of that racist talk. Of course not. But I will say, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I'll catch you on the next one.